John, I guess to kick things off, any update on Travis connecting? I know he was placed on IR, but any clarity on where he's at?
You know what? I think there'll be more clarity today. Yeah, he's out.
For an extended period of time?
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you think of the practice today, John? It looked like it was a pretty long one, and how do you feel like guys are responding to losing 7-0?
They've moved by it. They practiced well. They're getting ready for their next game.
As far as injury updates, 3 guys had maintenance days today. Do you expect them to play on Wednesday?
Hoping they skate tomorrow. Yeah. Allie blocks a shot, sore. James is just a little banged up, but I think he'll be able to skate tomorrow. Kevin, hopefully he'll be able to skate tomorrow too. Yeah, they just Kevin and Allie got banged up a little bit in the game against Jersey. James has been fighting a couple of things here, but he seems to be getting healthy. Hopefully he'll be skating tomorrow.
I don't know if you had a chance to talk to Chuck yet about maybe possibly sitting out people Wednesday that could be in trades, or
You asked me if I've talked to him about it?
if some people will sit out Wednesday because
No,
some
we
teams have done that.
We haven't had any discussion of that fashion at all, no.
It's kind of using that as a jumping off point. Obviously, the trade deadline's Friday. You're used to this. You've gone through this tons of times as a head coach. But as a head coach, do you talk to your players about not being distracted by the looming deadline?
I've already had that conversation probably, I think when people were throwing it against the wall with Provy, that people are talking about being traded. I've already had that conversation then, and we don't need another one. It was pretty point blank, and the information I gave them, how we handle the situation, was done then. So we're good.
How do you guys focus? Because I'm sure like the outside noise can get loud around this time. So how have you learned to help them stay focused and not be here?
What's the outside noise now?
What do you mean?
I'm just wondering, because we really don't pay attention. I can't speak for them, but I think they're pretty good at it. Is it the 7-0 loss? The noise still going on there, or is it the trade deadline?
Oh, I mean.
Yeah. Gianna, you know, I'll be honest with you, the guys, James, all the expiring contracts, of course, those are the guys mostly talked about, Brownie and so forth. They know it's there. You know, I'm not going to sit and say, no, they're totally focused on this. They know it's there. But they're pros. They've gone through it before, I'm sure. They're a little bit older guys. They're humans, you know. I'm sure they're thinking about, but I don't think it's distracted them at all.
John, with Tony D'Angelo, from the beginning, you've talked how you really liked his personality and that he has a winning personality. With his season so far, do you feel like he can be a part of the solution here moving forward?
Tony?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We're just like everybody else. It's our job to work on parts of the game that we feel they need work on. I think he has one of the best first passes in the National Hockey League, which is a very important thing to have on your team. Some teams don't have it to get you out of the end zone. Competes. He does all the things, and the personality shows. It's what we want. So, do I think he's a big part of trying to get us on the right track? Absolutely.
Going back to James for a second, obviously, you know, he's in the rumor mill. He's an expiring contract. At the same time, you've said that, you know, you feel like he's been a big help in terms of being there for the younger guys, whether it's on the bench, in the locker, room, whatnot. You're not the GM. You don't make the final call in terms of whether he gets traded or not. But how do you weigh, you know, the benefit of, you know, maybe getting a future asset for him versus the benefit of having him on the team now with the young guys?
Yeah, it's something I try to stay away from it because it's really not my call. I can't forecast where we are with the cap and assets. I don't pay. Chuck does that. I give Chuck the information when he asks me, and he has on players of what we feel they're doing for the hockey team. And I've been very honest with Chuck about James. I think his play has dipped, but I think he adds value towards just what you said, as far as some of the intangibles when you're dealing with a young team. But if a general manager, or I won't say, if the team isn't trying to get better and where they're at and what they think they need to go through in a process, our process is different than some other teams. He has to take all that into his mind as far as how he wants to go about it. So I give him information as far as questions are asked. He has to put it all together as far as what assets we have now. Do we need others? Is it worth trading him? All that. I'm just not in tune to all that. I've got enough things to worry about right now, especially in the track we're at right now with our team. But we certainly talk about what he adds to the team right now and what we think he can add in the future before Chuck makes those decisions.
After the game on Saturday, you talked about really liking the mindset that the team had against the Edmonton Oilers in both of those games. You said you felt like the team wasn't quite there mindset-wise against the Devils, and you took some responsibility for that. I guess how, going up against a team like New York coming up, how do you make sure the mindset is there?
Well, hopefully it's kind of getting a little bit of, what do they call that when they try to shock you back into it? Yeah, hopefully Jersey's was a defibrillator to kind of shock us back into it. And I say I don't think it was effort. I watched the tape and I watched it 10 times. Why is Frosty, who's exhausted at the end of his shift, who had an over a minute shift, trying to still stick handle through the neutral zone? Third goal, bang, it's in our net. Why is Risto chasing the corner after that mistake instead of staying in front of the net and not letting the play come? All those things, that's a mindset. And the concentration level with the Edmonton, because I think they're so concerned about the best player in the world, and McDavid. I think it just piqued them. And everybody bought in. It certainly hasn't happened that way in a couple, and I think Jersey's a better offensive team than Edmonton. I think the Rangers team, I'm not sure if they're better than Jersey. Tarasenko's there, and Breadman's there, and you go right through the lineup. I'm hoping that we understand, especially now, we're not getting in the playoffs. We need to concentrate on being who we are as hard as we can be and try to win games, understanding we have to defend first, because we just lost our, and he's going to be out for a while, our best offensive player that is involved in so many different things with this team to keep us going. He's out. So and that's where I have to take responsibility in making sure that we are thinking clearly. Players don't like hearing defensive stuff, talking about defense and maybe make a simple play. Maybe it's off the glass. But we have to think about that in order for us to survive and be able to compete the last quarter of the year. Long-winded answer, but I do believe it's my responsibility, and I thought we got it across. But after what happened to us in Jersey, I think it's pretty simple where we got to go after playing a really good first period the right way.
You've talked about throughout the season just your evaluations of players and how you're always keeping an eye toward the future. How important is this last month and change in terms of making those long-term evaluations on some of these players?
Yeah, it's very important, and for me, I'll put it to you this way. For me, it's sometimes it's just not the kids. It's just the pride of putting the uniform on. Listen, guys, it's hard for athletes to see other teams bolstering their lineup because they're gearing up for it, right? We're on the other end of that. We're going to sell, right? And we've talked about the process. I've talked about it, and I haven't stopped talking about it. That we have a long way to go. We do, but it's hard for athletes to be towards the end of the season and have to go through it. They're not martyrs. But I want to see guys just play with a little bit of pride here. I want to watch that too, because that's a telling tale of what we want here on the bus too in Philly as we move forward. That's old, young, younger, medium-aged guys. That's just pride of being an athlete. I'm watching that.
Do you
One or
think?
two more?
Do you think that that was part of the particularly the last two games? You straight up said a few minutes ago that we're not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you think that was maybe part of why the team slipped a little bit? Is just that recognition on their end that we're not going to make it?
Yeah, you can say as an athlete, and you try like hell, right? I'm given, but it knocks you back, right? When we've had this stretch, our best month was January, right? And going into the break, we've got to the 500. We were after losing 10, 11 games in a row. We found our way to get back there. We haven't played well enough in the month of February to say, okay, we can't look up anymore because of our play, right? And it is what it is. Athletes can still say, yeah, but I'm going to play hard. When it hits you sometimes, they're human, and if you just give a little bit, it affects things. And if you have 3 or 4 guys that it gives a little bit, it affects your team. That's what we have to fight here. And all teams that are in this situation are going to have to fight that. But for me, it shows you who the people are too. In the big picture for me, it's going to show me who the people are as we move forward. If we get into this situation again, next year is going to be a grind too. This is a process. It's going to take time. But I'm not going to be a coach that's screaming at players at this time of year because of what's settled in. I mean, I'm just being totally honest with you here. I want to see them get it within themselves, and I think that's how you find out about people. I'm going to push and prod and try to be the best we can be, but we're all going to have to do it together. And it's not going to be by peeling paint off the wall. I can wait to peel the paint off the wall when the real stuff really gets going, when we're playing more meaningful games again. Wanted to play as many meaningful games as we possibly could. Well, you've fought it here and haven't been able to sustain it. And, we're in trouble as far as that's concerned, but still let's play.
Does the focus change for you in terms of, obviously this year, a lot of it has been about development.
Yes.
But does the pendulum swing more towards development now over the final month and a half of the year, in terms of bringing guys up,
Yeah.
To see what they can do and
Sure.
things like that?
Sure, but you have to remember, once the trade deadline comes here, we have 4 call-ups, and they hold you back. Desi, he's playing. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, so I got to call him Desi. He's playing for me right now. I love what he did in Jersey. I loved his moxie. He banged. He ends up in a team that probably got 6 or 7 total scoring chances in a 3-period game. He was around the net in 3 of them. There are other people that I'm really interested in, but that's the conversation Chuck and I have to have, and also being careful not to force feed it and put them in a failing situation for them to where they lose their confidence as they enter the summer. The biggest thing I think for this organization right now, or one of the biggest things, is that Lehigh team. They're almost in the play. We want to get them in the playoffs. I coached in the American League 2 years, went on 2 long runs there, 1 year winning a Calder Cup. It did unbelievably great stuff for development of young players. That's important for this organization right now. That's why Ursa's down there now. He's going to be that goalie down there in the minors when they play. Stevie Shields was my goalie in Rochester when we won it in the American League, and it propelled him right to the National Hockey League. That's really important for the organization down there. So, yeah, but when you put the uniform on each and every night, you're trying to win, and I want to see how guys react in a situation where, yeah, we're trying to win to, what's our record going to be anyway? It doesn't matter for me. It's being a pro, and I'm going to watch that.